Hi, I'm Kim Tiani. Welcome to Cooler Facts, the show that's full of surprising facts about the world around us. Science, technology, and nature. The first surprise is how we're telling you our stories. Get ready for a fun, fast-paced tour of short little video bits. Each one promises to leave you with something new. Today, you learn how Velcro got its name and how long it takes one drop of water to travel from one Great Lake to another. But first, some really cool facts on roller coasters. Get ready to pull some G's.
We've all felt it. That burst of excitement, the pounding heart, and rush of adrenaline you get from the feeling of falling and losing control. And there are many ways we try to get that thrill. On purpose. One of the safest ways is riding the Kingda roller coaster at the Six Flags amusement park in Jackson, New Jersey. From a dead start, riders hit a speed of 206 kilometers per hour in just 3.5 seconds. During that acceleration, riders feel a G-force of 1.7 G pushing their faces. That's about half of the G-force the shuttle astronauts feel at takeoff. The coaster climbs straight up 139.5 meters, the height of a 42-story building, then does a quick 180 and dives back down. This hair-raiser lasts only 28 seconds. Film stunts give many moviegoers the same kind of heart-in-your-mouth thrill of falling. The record for the highest free fall from a building without cable or parachute goes to stuntman Dar Robinson in the 1981 movie Sharky's Machine. He ran through a window on the 21st floor of Atlanta's Hyatt Regency Hotel and dropped a whopping 71 meters. That's definitely not for the faint at heart. Skydivers are constantly pushing thrills to the extreme. On a normal jump, a skydiver hits a typical terminal velocity around 270 kilometers per hour. Terminal velocity is the top speed of a falling object without an external force. The top speed may depend on the jumper's weight and body orientation. By finding a less wind-resistant position, an experienced skydiver can increase the maximum speed to 300 kilometers per hour. That rides nearly as fast as an F1 car at full speed, straight down. It is possible to blow that terminal velocity off the charts if you start in the near vacuum of the Earth's outer atmosphere. In August 1960, the U.S. Air Force's Captain Joseph Kittinger stepped off the gondola of a helium balloon at over 102,800 feet. That's 3 times the cruising altitude of a commercial jet. Without any air resistance, Kittinger's free fall quickly maxed out at 982 kilometers per hour, just shy of the speed of sound. He slowed as soon as the air density thickened. But some people have taken a wild leap without any thought of safety. In 1970, a man in San Francisco, under the influence of mind-altering substances, jumped down an air shaft of the Transamerica skyscraper. Amazingly, after plunging straight down 29 floors, he survived after hitting the concrete floor. He suffered broken thighs, knees, and heels, but no internal injuries. Experts suspected that what saved his life was the increased air pressure in the confined space. It slowed him down. No matter where humans find their big drop, the feel of falling provides a great thrill. And it's mostly free of charge, thanks to the Earth's gravity.
I don't know. I think getting a thrill is one thing, but jumping down an air shaft? Now that's another. I think I'd rather jump in a lake. In fact, in North America, there are 5 great ones to choose from, as you're about to see in these cooler water facts.
Welcome to the 5 Great Lakes in eastern North America. So what's so great about them? Sheer enormity for starters. They hold so much water that if they spilled out over North America, we'd all be waist deep in it. Lake Superior is the largest freshwater lake in the world. Its volume is greater than the other 4 lakes combined, with an additional 3 Eries thrown in. Add it up, and you have more than 1/5 of the world's fresh water supply. The series of lakes is so long and meandering, a single drop of water entering Lake Superior takes some 300 years to make its way through the system. Water flowing out of Lake Ontario today likely carried the canoes of French fur traders in the late 18th century. The Great Lakes are big enough for the moon's gravitational pull to cause tides, though the largest, in Lake Michigan, is just under 5 centimeters. But spectacular fluctuations occur on all 5 lakes. Lake Erie's are the most dramatic, as it's the shallowest. Its levels can change by as much as 2.5 meters. High winds cause some of the largest waves of any lakes in the world. On Lake Superior, swells can reach as high as a 3-story house, hence its status as a storied graveyard to lost ships. The worst of the giant waves are wind setups, when violent gusts push water onto dry land. In the 1960s, one such wave came ashore at Salmon Point on Lake Ontario. Witnesses say the swell forced boats to crash through barn roofs a kilometer inland. That's the same force as some tsunamis caused by ocean floor earthquakes. One wonder that results from all this great water is Niagara Falls. About 4 million liters of water fall every second. In a single day, its gush could fill over 700 billion ice cube trays. That's a lot of ice. Actually, almost 99% of the Great Lakes Basin water is melted ice sheets. During the last ice age, ice 3 kilometers thick covered central Canada. As the sheets moved southward, they gouged out colossal basins. When the sheets melted away, the meltwater filled the basins. They don't call them great for nothing.
700 billion ice cube trays going over Niagara Falls. Wow. Now all I need are 700 billion little umbrellas to put inside those drinks. Next up, get out your calendar and a big red pen. We're gonna tell you what's happening on March 16th, 2880. Welcome back to Cooler Facts. Dinosaurs continue to fascinate us. What would their lives have been like millions of years ago? What I want to know is, would a hadrosaur be able to break the speed limit?
Considering their longevity, you'd think all the dinosaurs would have been found, but surprisingly, we're still finding these prehistoric hidden gems. Like Triceratops, the world's largest horned dinosaur. This huge vegetarian was the size of a small dump truck. Its skull was as big as a car, and 2 front horns extended the length of a small man. Nearby in North Dakota, scientists identified an extraordinary 67-million-year-old mummified hadrosaur. Unlike almost all dinosaur fossils, this one retained traces of soft tissue and skin, and that residue has led to new clues. Researchers used a giant CT scanner to calculate the unexpectedly large muscle mass in the tail. More muscle means more speed. Turns out the huge duck-billed dinosaur could run 45 kilometers an hour, at least 13 kilometers an hour faster than the predator T-Rex. Based on complete skeletons, the largest known dinosaur is the Brachiosaurus. It measured 23 meters in length and 12 meters in height, like 2 school buses long and 4 stories high. It weighed the equivalent of 12 elephants. But Brachiosaurus might have had an even bigger cousin in the huge sauropod suborder of dinosaurs. By extrapolating from fragments of leg bones and vertebrae in Argentina, researchers estimate a huge sauropod might have been up to twice the size of its relative. For decades, paleontologists assumed the posture of sauropods meant their long necks stretched as high as possible to eat tall plants and tree leaves. For instance, the Barosaurus was a massive vegetarian with a neck 9 meters long. But that length poses a strange problem. Pumping blood vertically to its distant brain requires intense pressure. After all, a giraffe's heart is the size of a small beach ball and weighs 11 kilos. Based on mammal physiology, the Barosaurus's heart must have weighed 2,000 kilos. That's the weight of a car. But scientists realized that weight would be impossible for the dinosaur's chest size. That knocks out the long-held view that sauropods were hot-blooded vegetarians that nibbled near the treetops. There's a lot of dinosaur history to uncover. If you turned the Earth's history into a 24-hour time span, the dinosaurs roamed from 8 until 10:45 at night, and humans did not appear until the last 30 seconds before midnight. You could say, we are the Earth's party crashers.
So we're the party crashers. Well, scientists say dinosaurs had their party crashed by an uninvited asteroid, literally. Well, since there are billions of asteroids streaking through space, it's a wonder we're not hit every day.
A catastrophic celestial body colliding with Earth isn't just the stuff of Hollywood films. NASA predicts that on March 16, 2880, an asteroid called 1950 DA will get very close to us, with the potential to destroy all life on Earth. The asteroid is about 1.4 kilometers tall, the equivalent of 3 Eiffel Towers. There's a 0.3% chance it will hit Earth, and if it does hit, it will likely be in the ocean, which would cause massive tsunamis worldwide. Asteroids, comets, and meteoroids with orbits near ours are classified as near-Earth objects, or NEOs. These are the rocky leftovers of huge collisions that took place when our solar system formed 4 billion years ago. NEOs could be as small as a grain of sand, or as big as 1,000 kilometers in diameter, about 1/4 the size of our moon. They speed along on average at 25 kilometers a second. That's like flying from New York to London in less than 4 minutes. Comets are bodies of ice and rock formed beyond the outermost planets that have fallen into an orbit around our sun. One of them, Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9, broke up and smashed into Jupiter in 1994. Before impact, Shoemaker broke into fragments. One of them hit with an energy equivalent to 6 million megatons of TNT, about 600 times the entire arsenal of the world. The fireball that followed rose about 3,000 kilometers above the Jovian clouds, roughly the distance between Chicago and Los Angeles. Asteroids have hit Earth before. In 1908, one fell over Siberia. The power of its explosion was about 10 megatons, as powerful as the world's biggest nuclear weapon. It flattened 2,500 square kilometers of land. That's the size of Paris. Many scientists believe an asteroid explosion killed the dinosaurs, and some think an asteroid may have ushered in the Dark Ages. The good news is that modern technology could nudge the orbit of a NEO off course. NASA theorizes that an unmanned spacecraft could hover over an asteroid, pulling it into its gravity, and thereby moving it into a safer orbit. Another deflection strategy: explode a nuclear device nearby, thrusting it off course. This is called an X-ray slap. Clearly, NASA takes the problem seriously. But there's no great panic yet. After all, 1950 DA is still 800 years away. That's a lot of time to fix the problem, and plenty of time for another Hollywood disaster flick.
Well, 800 years is a long time to wait for the end of civilization. Perhaps we should just wait long enough to check out one of Sir Isaac Newton's least known inventions. Here's a hint. Meow. Welcome back to Cooler Facts, a show that opens our eyes to little-known but surprising facts about science, technology, and nature. I'm Kim Jagtiani. You know, I've always wanted to invent something cool, something that would stand the test of time, like one that hasn't changed in over 300 years.
We are surrounded by invention. Sometimes the simpler the invention, the stranger the reason for its creation. Take the humble ballpoint pen. Over 100 million are sold each year. That's more than 3 pens for every Canadian. In 1938, Hungarian journalist Laszlo Biro was exasperated by his fountain pen's ink blotches and liked the idea of using faster-drying newspaper ink. It didn't smudge nearly as easily. Unfortunately, the thick newspaper ink wouldn't flow in a fountain pen. So he designed a pen nib with a tiny ball bearing at the tip. The ballpoint rotated as it slid along the paper and spread ink evenly. When World War II started, the British government bought Biro's patent. They needed a pen that did not leak at high altitudes. Regrettably for Biro's bank account, he had forgotten to apply for a US patent. He should have written himself a note. And then there's Velcro. Swiss inventor George de Mestral walked his dog in the woods. He and the dog would often come home covered in clingy burrs. He inspected the burrs under a microscope and noticed odd-shaped tiny hooks. In 1955, he developed a two-sided fastener with burr-like hooks and soft loops like his pant fabric. Blending elements of velour and crochet, he called his invention Velcro. Some everyday inventions have endured the test of time. For 330 years, cat flaps have provided a handy way for furry felines to come in and out of a house without letting in intruders. The simple but ingenious flap idea was originally attributed to Mr. Gravity himself, Sir Isaac Newton. But it turns out the famous scientist didn't even own a cat.
Now, one invention that changed the world was the car. There are billions of them worldwide, so you'd think we'd know everything about them, right? Well, what about the car that can beat a Learjet?
We're obsessed with cars, and car makers aim to please by pushing the limits of car design, speed, and technology. The US is the world leader in car ownership, 136 million cars, and that doesn't even include pickups or SUVs. If you lined up all the cars in the US bumper to bumper, you could wrap the equator at least 13 times. The average American will spend 4 years of his or her life in a car. That's as much time as high school. Take a look at this beaut, the largest production car ever made. The Bugatti Royale Type 41 was built in 1927 for an uber-wealthy few just before the Great Depression. The car has an 8-cylinder engine, a 12.7-liter capacity, and is more than 7 meters long. Its hood alone is over 2 meters long. That's bigger than a king-sized bed. Size doesn't matter when time is at a premium. If you've got $550,000 to spare, start up the 2006 British-made Barbarous TKR, the world's fastest street-legal car. The all-carbon fiber body and chassis beast can do 100 kilometers an hour in 1.67 seconds and tops out at 430 kilometers per hour. That's 70 kilometers per hour faster than the takeoff speed of the Concorde. Not bad for 1,000 horsepower. But speed isn't everything. Sometimes parking is more essential. Daimler-Benz's Smart Car can squeak into tight spots and park legally in perpendicular position. It's the smallest car currently in production, measuring less than 2.5 meters in length. You'd need 3 to match the length of the Bugatti.
Oh, imagine fighting for a parking space with 140 million other cars. Sounds like a nightmare come true. After the break, we'll tell you why $200,000 can be a bargain ticket price depending on where you're going. But don't go anywhere just yet. Cooler Facts will be right back. Hi, I'm Kim Jake Tiani. Hardly a day goes by when you don't see a plane overhead. But what about the planes you can see? No, seriously.
Look, it's a bird. It's a plane. Flying machines certainly come in a myriad of shapes and sizes and pack a whole lot of power these days. Like the Airbus A380. This double-decker passenger jet is so enormous it can carry 853 economy passengers. That's the same number of people that can squish into 213 New York taxicabs. The behemoth has a huge range. It can fly from Vancouver to Perth, Australia without stopping. That's 14,800 kilometers. And still, the A380 is a little puppy compared to the Antonov 225, currently the world's largest plane. The Russians built it to transport their spaceships to remote launch sites in Siberia. This beast has a 94-meter wingspan, almost the length of a football field, and it can haul a load of 251 tons, more than the weight of 3 space shuttle orbiters. Other planes try never to be spotted, like the Polecat. It has a 30-meter wingspan and no tail. Kind of looks like a flying wing without a fuselage, like a small B-2 stealth bomber. But this surveillance plane is actually a drone. That means it's unmanned and remote controlled. Designed to be stealthy and sneaky, it flies at 60,000 feet, twice the cruising altitude of commercial jets. To make it as hard as possible to catch on radar, the Polecat is made of 90% composite materials rather than metal. It's even assembled with powerful adhesives instead of rivets. Drones can hover closer to the ground. Police in London, England are testing the 4-rotor battery-powered micro-drone. It can quietly spy from 100 meters above, where it's rarely seen by the unwary people below. It might not be stealthy, but the Ericsson Air Crane is an industry heavyweight with a fine touch. It can place huge hydro towers on top of hard-to-reach, rugged mountains, or can carry 10,000 liters of fire retardant to wash out a forest fire. That's the volume of a large hot tub. If that doesn't heat you up, consider orbiting. As of 2009, Virgin Galactic will offer weightless flights. That means flying passengers up to an elevation of 100,000 kilometers above the Earth. That's the same distance as 2.5 times around the planet's equator. Ticket price, $200,000. Guaranteed a great trip and a steal at $2 per kilometer.
That's it for this edition of Cooler Facts, the show that's full of surprises. Watch for more shows with everything from the world's hottest fires to the coolest stars. The ones in the sky, not Hollywood. So long, I'm Kim J. Tiani.